may have this facade that everybody thinks it is X per se, but behind this facade, there's a whole different person. Jahseh Onfroy was weak. X is the complete opposite. X desires control, controversy, wealth. X has desires. Jahseh Onfroy had no desires. Before now, nobody gave a fuck about whether my emotions were perfectly intact. Nobody gave a fuck about how I felt. Now my opinion is respected, and every move I make is recorded and calculated. Nobody gave a fuck about me as an individual. I wanted to be appreciated. I wanted to be relative to people that felt the way I felt. So the whole point is the appreciation. I appreciate the fact that I'm getting more appreciation for my work and my soul in itself. But as far as the fame, it doesn't mean a lot to me. I won't say it doesn't mean a thing.
Jahseh Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy, better known for his stage name XXXTENTACION, was an American rapper and singer-songwriter. Despite his controversial persona, largely due to his legal issues, XXXTENTACION attracted a dedicated young audience with his music that often dealt with themes of depression and alienation. Renowned for his versatility, his music spanned a variety of genres including emo, trap metal, new metal, indie rock, lo-fi, hip-hop, R&B and punk rock. He played a pivotal role in the rise of emo rap and SoundCloud rap, both which have achieved significant popularity in the mid to late 2010. Born in Plantation, Florida, XXXTENTACION grew up primarily in Lauderhill. His music career began after the release of a juvenile detention center, with his initial tracks appearing on SoundCloud in 2013. He utilized unconventional styles and techniques in his music, incorporating elements like distortion, heavy guitar-backed instrumentals, influenced by third wave emo and grunge. In 2014, he co-founded the underground collective Members Only, which quickly rose to prominence within the SoundCloud rap scene, a subgenre characterized by lo-fi aesthetics and intense 808s. XXXTENTACION broke into the mainstream with his single Look At Me. His first album, 17, achieved triple platinum status in the US and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200. His follow-up album, in 2018, topped the Billboard 200 and has been certified quintuple platinum in the US. Its leading single, Sad, reaching number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100 posthumously, and by February 2024 garnered over 1.2 billion views on YouTube and 1.1 billion streams on Spotify. The track was also certified diamond by the RIAA in August 2021. Throughout his life, XXXTENTACION encountered numerous legal problems, with the most significant being the battery charges brought against him in 2016. Some have argued that these legal issues and alleged acts of violence overshadow his legacy, while others have critiqued the media's representation of him, suggesting that his later efforts to improve himself transform his legacy into a narrative about the potential for redemption and the impact of second chances. Jahseh Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy was born on January 23, 1998 in Plantation, Florida, to Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy and Cleopatra Aretha Drina Bernard, who are of Jamaican descent. His name, inspired by the Bob Marley song So Jahseh, which references Ezekiel 34, was chosen by his father. Both his father and grandfather adhered to Rastafarian beliefs. Onfroy was born with a ventricular septal defect, also known as a hole in the heart, which limited his growth for height for no more than 5 feet 6 inches. In a 2017 interview on The Beat, Onfroy mentioned that he also had Syrian, Indian, and possible Italian heritage. Due to personal issues faced by his mother, Jahseh Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy was primarily cared for by his grandmother, Colette Jones, in Pompano Beach in Lauderhill, Florida. At the age of 6, Onfroy reportedly attempted to stab a man who was trying to attack his mother, leading to his placement in a youth program before he went to live with his grandmother. Although a family insider contested the occurrence of this stabbing incident and no police reports can confirm it due to Onfroy being a minor, experts in trauma and domestic violence have expressed doubts that such a story will be made up. When Onfroy was a child, he discovered his uncle's deceased body after the man committed suicide by hanging. Onfroy references trauma from the incident in multiple songs. In 2017, Onfroy alluded that he'd been sexually abused by an unnamed adult when he was a child. Other traumatic events that Onfroy witnessed as a child included someone being physically tortured and someone being raped. According to Onfroy's mother, he was routinely beaten by his father as a child. She claimed that Onfroy's father tried to hit her in front of Onfroy on several occasions. Early 2008, when Onfroy was 10, his father was jailed for 9 years in Arizona on RICO charges after Drug Enforcement Administration organized a sting operation. Onfroy's father was released from the BOP custody on October 30th, 2015 and deported to Jamaica in late 2016. In a 2007 interview, when he was asked about his relationship with his father, Onfroy sarcastically asked, "What is a father?" Onfroy's interest in music was initially sparked by his aunt, who encouraged him to join the school and later the church choir. However, his tenure in the school choir was short-lived due to an incident where he was attacked by another student. Onfroy went to attend Margate Middle School, where he was eventually expelled after multiple physical confrontations. Following this, his mother placed him in Sheridan House Family Ministries for over 6 months. It was during his time there that Onfroy started exploring rap, new metal and hard rock, which inspired him to learn piano and guitar. Onfroy went to Piper High School but left during his sophomore year. He considered himself an outsider, noting that despite his popularity, he was quiet and often found himself physical altercations. From a young age, Onfroy was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. He also mentioned that he was not athletic and felt insecure and depressed during his high school years. Onfroy first encountered Geneva Alea in November 2014. They began communicating after Onfroy reached out to Alea, expressing a desire to confront her boyfriend, who had reportedly posted revealing photos of her without her consent. However, no altercation took place. Ayala's boyfriend at the time claimed that she had hit and slapped him during her emotional breakdowns, though he acknowledged that he occasionally slapped her in an attempt to snap her out of it. After being expelled from her mother's house at age 16, Ayala lived with his boyfriend until their relationship ended. In 2016, Ayala moved in with Onfroy and his roommates. Geneva Ayala, the ex-girlfriend of Onfroy, leveled accusation of domestic abuse against him. According to her accounts, Onfroy subjected her to physical violence that included beating, choking, and breaking clothes hangers on her legs. He also made threats to cut off her hair or her tongue, pressed knives or scissors against her face, and submerged her head underwater in the bathroom while threatening to drown her. Ayala described that Onfroy often backhanded her across the mouth, a form of abuse that consistently resulted in welts inside of her lips. The first reported incident of domestic violence occurred when Onfroy allegedly slapped Ayala and broke her iPhone 6S after she complimented another male friend's jewelry. Onfroy later repaired the phone. In a particularly disturbing episode recounting to a prosecutor, Ayala claimed that Onfroy presented her with a choice between having a long-handled barbecue fork or a wire barbecue brush inserted into her vagina. She chose the fork, and Onfroy then instructed her to undress. According to Ayala, Onfroy was dragging the tool along her inner thigh when she lost consciousness. He did not actually penetrate her with it. When she awoke, Onfroy was apologizing profusely for the incident. Following these alleged incidences, Ayala launched a GoFundMe campaign claiming she needed surgery for the damage to her left eye and successfully raised over 32 grand, with Onfroy himself donating 5 grand. However, the fundraiser was temporarily halted by GoFundMe due to allegations of fraud, and it remains unconfirmed whether Ayala underwent the surgery. Ayala reported that Onfroy frequently manipulated her emotionally by threatening suicide. She described incidences where he would fill a bathtub with water, fetch the microwave, and threaten to drop it into the water. On occasion, after discovering Ayala had been unfaithful to him while he was in jail, he allegedly dangled himself from the balcony of a 12-story building. Following this latter incident, a witness claimed that Ayala began to hit Onfroy, which he admitted to, but noted that it was the only time he had struck him. Following Onfroy's death, Ayala expressed frustration with the people speaking on her behalf regarding her accusations against him, stating, "It's disgusting that people are speaking for me." Addressing criticism for mourning Onfroy, she defended her feelings on Instagram, saying, Did you know him? No, you did not. I knew who the fuck he was. I still fucking love him. I lost someone very dear to me and I grieve whenever the fuck I fucking want to. Onfroy consistently maintained his innocence regarding the accusation until his death. Roommates of both Onfroy and Ayala have described instances where Onfroy expressed remorse following the alleged incidents, indicating that he badly wanted to control his anger. There was a moment where Onfroy reportedly fell to his knees, wept, and pleaded with himself to change his behavior. Some psychologists speculate that Onfroy's violent outbursts could have been influenced by the attachment disorder, which might stem from an absence of his parents during his childhood. Onfroy was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in adulthood, a condition initially identified in his childhood. By the time of his death, he had been attending therapy sessions and was on medications to manage his conditions. On New Year's Eve 2017, Onfroy began a relationship with Genesis Sanchez, which evolved into a domestic partnership. Sanchez noted that Onfroy had made progress in managing his anger, often choosing to walk away from conflicts instead of becoming physical. Onfroy also stated to view his deceased friend Jocelyn Flores as a guardian angel who influenced him to make better decisions in his relationship. 3 days following his death, Onfroy's mother revealed on Instagram that Sanchez was expecting his child. In an interview, Sanchez shared that Onfroy had been informed of the pregnancy 3 weeks before his passing. The child, confirmed to be a boy on August 22, 2018, was born on January 26, 2019, just 3 days after what had been Onfroy's 21st birthday. A few weeks after Genesis, Sanchez sought DNA samples from Onfroy to confirm the paternity of her son. Onfroy's mother moved to prevent the testing. Her legal filings opposing the test were sealed, leaving the reasons for her objection unclear, although some fans speculate it may be related to her financial interests in Onfroy's estate. Ultimately, on May 15, 2019, Sanchez prevailed in the legal dispute when a Florida judge ruled that she could obtain a DNA sample from Onfroy. Onfroy, who grew up as a Christian, had notable interest in the occult. Tarpley Hitt, a journalist from the Miami New Times who conducted one of the few mainstream media interviews with him, noted that Onfroy spent much of their 2-hour conversation discussing the occult rather than his childhood legal troubles. Housemates from the time he lived with pornographic actor Bruno Dickens record that Onfroy had an extensive collection of occult books and participated in rituals. During this period, his former partner Geneva Alea feigned demonic possession in an attempt to frighten him away from their tumultuous relationship. He was also influenced by Austrian philosopher Rudolf Steiner's anthroposophy, particularly in his ideas of consciousness. In his XXL freshman cipher and the song I Spoke to the Devil in Miami, he said everything would be fine, Onfroy referenced the notion of selling his soul to Satan. When DJ academics later asked him about this topic, Onfroy declined to discuss it, expressing concern that it might lead kids down the dark path. Additionally, in his track Demons, Onfroy delves into a revenge fantasy against Jesus and God, prompted by the atrocities he sees in the world and expressing doubt about the existence of God. Specifically, he mentioned seeking vengeance on God for his uncle's mental anguish. Onfroy held a belief in reincarnation, envisioning it as a cycle of death and rebirth that concludes once an individual lives a life that does not harm others. He acknowledged that his own actions marked by violence had fallen short of his ideal. Additionally, he was intrigued by the New Age notion of indigo children, which might explain his attraction to the color blue during the final months of his life. Throughout his career, Onfroy was open about his political and personal beliefs. In 2016, he expressed an opposition to Donald Trump's presidential candidacy, showing a preference for the Democratic candidate Bernie Sanders. Despite his opposition, he took to Twitter to acknowledge Trump's potential to win, stating, "As much as I hate that piece of shit Donald Trump, you all know that this motherfucker's going to win, right?" He also shared his views on Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton, who he describes as garbage, stating that he did not want Trump to win because it would negatively impact minorities and the lower classes. In his music, Onfroy's opposition to Trump was evident in the lyrics of songs like Hate Will Never Win and Suicide Pit. Onfroy held the belief that legalizing marijuana globally would make the world a better place. He also supported criminal justice reform, critiquing the judicial system by labeling it as a form of slavery. Additionally, Onfroy was opposed to war and publicly criticized President Trump's decision to conduct a missile strike on Syria in April 2017. Although Onfroy had previously been opposed to gun control measures, his perspective shifted after the 2018 Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida. Following the incident, Onfroy actively supported the March of Our Lives movement by organizing multiple charity events and even visited Anthony Borges, the survivor of the shooter. Onfroy faced considerable media scrutiny regarding his stance on homosexuality, particularly after the interview with Adam22 in April 2016, where he recounting attacking a gay cellmate who stared at him while he was naked. He stated during the interview, "I was going to kill him" type shit because of what he did, but clarified he was restrained before anything further could happen. This incident led some media outlets and social media to label him as homophobic. Following his death, a CNN article by Liz Lazarus similarly describes him as homophobic. Despite these portrayals, friends and collaborators defended him, stating that he was not homophobic. In the same interview with Adam22, Onfroy stated, "I am not homophobic," and voiced his support for the legalization of gay marriage. In 2017, interview with The Fader, which was released posthumously in November 2022, Onfroy reflected on his previous statements, acknowledging that his comments were negligent and stupid, and expressing regret that he had not made it clearer that he did not attack his cellmate because of his sexuality, but rather his actions. He remarked, "Everyone needs to realize at the time I was still a kid." Regarding his broader views, transgender music producer 50 Grand described Onfroy's political beliefs as incredibly progressive. In a 2020 biography, multiple transgender artists was also attested to Onfroy's supportive stance towards the transgender community. Onfroy often expressed a deep mistrust of police, a sentiment fueled by both personal experiences and high-profile incidents like the killing of Philando Castile, which he had openly referred to as a murder. In his music video for Riot, the killings of Emmett Till, Heather Heyer, and Philando Castile are portrayed alongside a fictional scene of a white child being lynched. Onfroy explained that this last depiction was not meant to suggest reverse racism, but to highlight that public outrage would likely focus more on the fictional death of the white child than on the real historical instances of racist violence depicted. Additionally, in a 2017 interview, Onfroy expressed frustration over the lack of arrest of the officer responsible for the death of Eric Garner. During his revenge concert tour, Onfroy made public declarations supporting civil rights and gay rights, openly condemning racist and homophobic rhetoric from hate groups like the KKK. He expressed a universal message of equality, stating, "I don't give a fuck if you're black, white, yellow, purple. I don't give a fuck if you're gay. I don't give a fuck if you're straight. I give a fuck if you're a person. I stand for equality for all people." Onfroy's music career took off in June 2013 with the release of his song New/Flock. He reportedly met Stokely Goulbourne, also known as Ski Mask the Slump God, although some sources from a 2020 biography suggest that they actually met in high school. Onfroy and Goulbourne quickly became close friends and started freestyling each other. Reflecting on his detention period, Onfroy noted that he was respectful to the officers and staff, and often stood up for other inmates, including a homosexual cellmate. However, he later assaulted the same cellmate for allegedly staring at him while he changed clothes. Onfroy clarified that the assault was not motivated by the inmate's sexuality, once again asserting his support for gay rights and denying any homophobia. After being released from juvenile detention, Onfroy and Goulbourne initially considered committing home invasions for financial gain. However, Onfroy soon purchased a blue Snowball microphone and started recording music, which influenced Goulbourne to follow suit. Onfroy, who took the stage name XXXTENTACION, then uploaded Vice City, his first non-deleted track, to SoundCloud. Reflecting on his shift from potential criminal activities to music, Onfroy credited the change to realizing that music was more of a productive way to express his emotions. He also acknowledged his then-girlfriend Geneva Laya was a significant influence in making his transformative decision. He continued to upload brief excerpts of his music, which would either release later or decide to keep unreleased. Onfroy later became part of the Ski Mask the Slump Gods group, very rare, before leaving to form his own collective, Members Only, in 2015. Ski Mask later joined this new collective as well, The word Tentacion in his stage name XXXTENTACION translates to temptation in Spanish. On April 30th, 2014, Onfroy released his 2 official extended plays, titled Emotion and XXX, along with the original version of the song Ecstasy, which was later remixed for his final album, Bad Vibes Forever. He initially planned for the Nobodies and the Four to be part of the trilogy of EPs, inspired by The Weeknd's trilogy of mixtapes, with a 3rd EP titled The Underworld. However, The Underworld was eventually abandoned as Onfroy shifted to focus on other projects. An unfinished version of Nobodies was briefly released on July 11, 2014, but was quickly taken down as Onfroy decided to further refine it before a complete re-release, which ultimately never occurred. The full was subsequently released on November 21st, 2014. In 2015, Onfroy continued to build his musical portfolio by releasing a collaborative mixtape with Ski Master Slump God titled Members Only Volume 1. This was followed by Members Only Volume 2, featured several artists from the expanding Members Only collective. On December 31st, 2015, the original version of Look At Me was uploaded to SoundCloud by the song's co-producer Roy S. April 28, 2016. Onfroy released the EP Willy Wonka Was a Child Murderer, which featured music heavily inspired by heavy metal and indie genres. Later that year, as his music career began to take off, Onfroy left his job at a call center and moved in with the rapper Denzel Curry. In July 2016, he was arrested and charged with robbery and assault with a deadly weapon, but managed to post a $10,000 bail. Despite these legal troubles, Onfroy continued working on his debut independent album, Bad Vibes Forever, which was initially set to release on October 31st, 2016. However, the album's release was postponed after Onfroy was arrested again in early October on charges of false imprisonment, witness tampering, and aggravated battery of his girlfriend. In 2017, XXXTentacion's single Look At Me surged in popularity, reaching number 34 on the US Billboard's Hot 100 and entering the top 40 on the Canadian Hot 100. The track gained additional attention due to the allegations that Canadian rapper Drake had used a sim rap flow in his song KMT. XXXTentacion's distinctive hairstyle, which was half-coloured and inspired by Cruella de Vil from the 101 Dalmatians, also captured public interest. While in jail, Onfroy secured a management deal with Solomon Sombante, who would remain his manager until his passing. Despite being incarcerated during his initial rise to fame, major label scouts started offering him 6-figure contracts. Ultimately, Onfroy signed with Empire Distribution, opting for a lower royalty rate, full creative control, and a smaller upfront payment. After being released from prison on April 18, 2017, Onfroy dropped 3 new songs on SoundCloud. In a WMIB interview, he shared that he was working on 2 studio albums, Bad Vibes and 17, as well as a mixtape titled I Need Jesus. Speaking to XXL, just 3 days after his release, Onfroy described his upcoming project, saying, "I have this really good album called 17, it's more of an alternative R&B sound. Then I got this mixtape called I Need Jesus, which is mainly rap and maintains the underground sound I started with." On April 28, 2017, Onfroy announced his first nationwide tour titled The Revenge Tour, which included a total of 26 dates. The tour attracted significant media attention due to several incidents. A rapper was assaulted, Onfroy himself was knocked out during an on-stage altercation, an audience member was stabbed, security threw Onfroy into a barricade, and there was an episode where Onfroy punched a fan who touched his chest. The tour was ultimately cut short when Onfroy announced on June 24, 2017 that he was cancelling the remaining dates following his cousin being shot. Nevertheless, the final show in Broward County, Florida proceeded as planned and was later streamed on Watch the Music app. Onfroy was named as the 10th pick on XXL's 2017 freshman class. Onfroy released his debut commercial solo mixtape, Revenge, on May 16, 2017. The mixtape consists of 8 previously released songs. The collaborative mixtape Members Only Volume 3 with Members Only was released on June 26, 2017. Onfroy's first opener for a major act happened when D-Ram brought Onfroy out at a concert on August 9, 2017 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. during Kendrick Lamar's Damn tour. Onfroy unveiled his debut album 17 on August 25th, 2017. The album made a strong debut, landing at number 2 on US Billboard's 200 with 86,000 album equivalent units sold in its first week. Critics gave mixed reviews, with some praising the album for its introspective content and electric musical approach. On September 3rd, 2017, Onfroy confirmed that his second album, Bad Vibes Forever, was still in the works. The release of 17 propelled 7 of Onfroy's songs into the Billboard 100. These tracks were Jocelyn Falls at number 31, Revenge at 77, Fuck Love at 41, Everyone Dies in Their Nightmares at 54, Depression and Obsession at 91, Save Me at 94, and Carry On at 95. Jocelyn Falls became Onfroy's highest charting song since Look At Me, which had peaked at number 34. Additionally, Onfroy achieved his 9th entry on the Billboard Hot 100 with his feature on Kodak Black's Royal in Peace from the album Project Baby 2. This track debuted at number 52 and later climbed to match Jocelyn Falls at number 31. On September 12, 2017, Onfroy debuted his first official music video for the 2015 track Look At Me, and simultaneously released a video for another 2015 song, Riot. Later on October 19, 2017, Onfroy's label Bad Vibes Forever secured a distribution agreement with Capitol Music Group subsidiary Carolyn, which was reportedly valued at $6 million for a single album. However, just days later on October 25, 2017, Onfroy declared his intention to cancel his contract with Caroline, even though a representative from the company confirmed he was still under contract. Just 2 days after announcing his intent to terminate his contract, Onfroy stated that he was retiring from music due to negativity and backlash. However, some media outlets noted that Onfroy had previously made similar declarations without following through. On October 30th, 2017, he shifted his stance, declaring that he would return to music if his fellow Broward rapper and his former best friend, Ski Master Slump God, reconciled with him. Later responding to a fan's question during an Instagram live session about his retirement, Onfroy clarified, "Am I quitting? Yes, I'm quitting. I don't know for how long, but I'm not going to make music right now." September 22nd, 2017, Noah Cyrus introduced a single again which featured vocals by Onfroy. On November 2nd, 2017, Onfroy hinted at a comeback by previewing new music. Later on November 17th, he re-announced Bad Vibes Forever, describing the upcoming album as a mix of various genres he had experimented with, and noted that it was intended primarily for his core fan. The album shares its title with his label. On December 11, 2017, Onfroy released his 10th EP, A Ghetto Christmas Carol, on SoundCloud. The day before his hearing for witness tampering charges, he revealed plans to prepare 3 albums for the release in 2018. Following his release on house arrest, he announced the titles of these albums: Skins, Bad Vibes Forever, and Question Mark. On June 22nd, 2015, Onfroy started utilizing his long-standing YouTube channel XXXTENTACION, now stylized in all caps, which was originally for uploading music, to also share gaming content and vlogs. As of April 2022, the channel boasts at 36.7 million subscribers and approximately 9 billion total views. January 22nd, 2018, Onfroy revealed on Instagram that he was working on a project with New York rapper Joey Badass. In anticipation of their collaboration, the two released a freestyle to the song King's Dead on SoundCloud on March 9, 2018. On the same day, the YouTube channel posted a video titled #The Helping Hand Challenge, which featured Onfroy donating musical instruments, video game consoles, and other gifts to a foster home. Shortly after this, Onfroy announced that his album was complete and ready for release, but he stated he will only release it if the hashtag reached 1 million mentions on Instagram. On February 2nd, 2018, Onfroy dropped his first single of the year, Shining Like a North Star. He also appeared on Banded Up, a track by his longtime collaborator and producer Ronnie J. On February 21st, 2018, Onfroy released Hope on his SoundCloud account, a song dedicating to the victims of the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, which is located several miles north of his hometown, Plantation. Onfroy then announced that he would be releasing 2 new songs at midnight on March 2nd, 2018, which both serving as lead singles for his upcoming second album, Question Mark. The lead single for Question Mark, Sad, was unveiled several hours later along with Changes, which features PNB Rock, a fellow 2017 XXX freshman. Sad initially debuted at number 17 on the charts, marking Onfroy's highest charting songs in the United States at that time. It eventually climbed to number 1 following Onfroy's death, before the official music video was released on June 28th. The video highlighted Onfroy's assertion that he had changed as a person since the main controversies of his career. Other singles, Moonlight and Hope, also saw significant chart success posthumously, peaking at numbers 13 and 70 respectively. On March 12, 2018, Onfroy revealed the release date for his second studio album, and shared its 18-track listing featuring collaborations with Joey Diaz, Travis Barker and PNB Rock. The album was released on March 16, 2018 and debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, marking Onfroy's first number 1 album in the country. His debut album, 17, had previously missed the top spot due to Lil Uzi Vert's Love Is Rage 2. Soon after the release of Onfroy secured a new album deal with Empire Distribution worth $10 million for his third solo album. On June 18, 2018, at 3:56 p.m, Onfroy was leaving the Reba Motorsports motorcycle and marine superstore in Deerfield Beach, Florida, when a black Dodge Journey SUV blocked his exit in what appeared to be a premeditated attack. 2 armed assailants emerged from the SUV and approached Onfroy, who was seated in the driver's seat of the vehicle. After a brief confrontation, the attackers reached inside Onfroy's vehicle, took a small Louis Vuitton bag containing $50,000 and shot him multiple times. The assailants then escaped in the SUV. Onfroy was rushed to a nearby Broward Health North Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. In his will, Onfroy designated his mother Cleopatra and his brother Aiden as the exclusive heirs to his estate. His will did not mention his future child, as it had been drafted prior to the pregnancy being known. An open casket service for Onfroy was held at the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida, on June 27, 2018, allowing fans to pay their respects. The following day, June 28, a private funeral was conducted with notable attendees, including rappers Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty. Onfroy was later rested in a mausoleum at the Gardens of Boca Raton Memorial Park in Boca Raton, Florida. His personal life and history significantly shape his legacy. An article in The Guardian critically views his legacy, suggesting he'll be remembered mostly for the unusually cruel violence he committed on vulnerable people, particularly his ex-girlfriend, crimes for which he has never expressed remorse. However, mutual friends of his and his ex-girlfriend contest this view, recalling instances where he showed genuine remorse. The Guardian article also critiques his music for reflecting a life lived with disregard for humanity, both other people's and his own, often focusing on themes like mental illness, suicide, extreme misogyny, and numbness, although it acknowledges his efforts to rehabilitate his image. In The Atlantic, Hannah Gregorius also offers a critical perspective, but notes that he reminded young fans in particular that their hurt was valid, but did not form the sum total of their lives, and that he gave voice to their insecurities. Despite his attempts to uplift his fans, Gregorius contends that his legacy is also marked by trauma he both endured and inflicted. In the Washington Post, Chris Richard posted a nuanced view of his legacy, noting how the artist simultaneously offered solace to his fans struggling with depression, and yet seemed to revel in the violence he described in his music. Nico Goulding, writing for Vibe, addressed the controversy surrounding his history and public relations to his death. She criticized those who celebrated his murder. Goulding emphasized the importance of empathy by reflecting on XXXTentacion's young age and rapid public evolution, arguing that rejoicing in his death strips us of our humanity. While not excusing his past behaviors, she advocated for a more measured response to his passing, suggesting that if one cannot mourn him, they should at least refrain from celebrating his demise. In an article for Slate, Jack Hamilton expressed concerns over the moral absolutism that emerged following his death, criticizing those who celebrated it as self-righteous. He struggled with the concept of feeling any sense of superiority or justice from the killing of the 20-year-old, regardless of his past actions. Hamilton argued against viewing his death as irredeemable, lamenting that his death cut short of any possibility of change. He also advised against vilifying his fans, acknowledging that they had lost an artist who had deeply resonated with them and who had met a violent and a universally relatable tragedy. Jordan Bassett from Enemy echoed similar sentiments, highlighting the cycle of abuse that he experienced, which often perpetuates itself. While not excusing his actions, Bassett suggested that they might have been seen as those of a troubled young man rather than a malevolent figure, as he was often portrayed in the media. In an interview with NME, rapper and singer Jahseh defended X by emphasizing human fallibility, stating everyone has their mistake. A mistake is a mistake. Some are more severe than others, but we're no one to judge the severity of someone else's mistake. As long as we're doing wrong, as long as we're sinning, you can't judge nobody else's mistakes. This reflects a broader appeal for empathy and understanding, even towards those who have made a severe error. Jonathan Rice, a Rolling Stone journalist who wrote a 2020 biography of X, critiqued the media's handling of the artist's image, stating they had bundled his sins into listicles and timelines, partaking in the utmost gluttonous level of hatred. They made a monster and sold it. Rice also reflected on the potential for redemption that was cut short by X's early death, suggesting one of the saddest outcomes of losing X so young is that he never got to take responsibility for his actions. But given all that he did in the past year and how far he'd come, it's not far-fetched to imagine that he may have. He viewed X's legacy in a more positive light, proposing, if a fan of X or Jahseh Onfroy could mean being a believer in second chances and the power of redemption, that would be a hell of a powerful legacy. Geneva, who is X's ex-girlfriend who accused him of domestic violence, spoke out about the controversy following his death, expressing her frustration with the public perceptions. It's disgusting that people are speaking for me. I don't care if no one cared about me, however many months ago. I didn't lose my life. He did. It's permanent. I'm still here. Like, how do you think that makes me feel? Everyone expected me to be relieved or happy. No, I'm broken. Following X's death, she was featured in both the music video and the cover art for the 2019 single Heart Eater. So the question remains, did X deserve to die? The answer from me is no. A lot of people will say yes, just due to the evidence alone of him abusing and beating people, creating misery in people's lives, but he was a kid, tortured by the system that we are all in today. He had the shit end of the stick, unlike us. And I understand people's frustrations when it comes to X, but I really don't think he was a bad person. He was created by the machine, and technically we're all trapped in the belly of this horrible machine, and the machine is bleeding to death. He had time to change. We all have time to change.